It is the Riot on RadioU. Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hello.
So today in the podcast, apparently we get a little ranty. And by we, I mean me.
I don't feel like it was the whole morning.
No, not the whole morning, just right at the end. People are like, is there something wrong with him?
Oh, it's the lasting impression that you leave with people for the rest of the day.
No, but listen, let's go back through the show, okay? At the end of the show, I may rant just a tad bit about the Bill Gates microchipping your brain conspiracy, okay? So there's that. But what are you going to hear at the very beginning of the podcast? What did the guy at the gas station say to me?
Hey, you're right. He said, are you okay?
Hey, are you okay?
Oh, my God. He could see it.
He saw it.
Oh, boy.
More and more, I'm becoming convinced that what I should I probably just need to withdraw from society.
No, I think you're like everybody else. Everybody else is the same. We're all the same.
I'm not sure, Nikki.
We see everybody and we wonder, man, I wonder if that person's okay. How they do it.
I think maybe I don't have what it takes to control it long term.
That I think you could show it more, or like there's signs perhaps of it peeking through.
I think I probably just need to.
Well, save it for tomorrow, and then after the show tomorrow, you can go hide away for the weekend.
Okay, sure. So let's see what I got here, Nikki. The guy asking me if I'm okay. Mm-hmm. We talk about Comic-Con. We talk about an Xbox event that's happening today. The great aluminum can shortage of 2020.
Yep. If you thought toilet paper, what else was in the beginning? Toilet paper,
any kind of
paper
wipes.
Towels, things like that, cleaning supplies, now coins to this aluminum can shortage. It's like, what's next?
A nap if I get my way. We talk that. We talk about what Lowe's is doing. You get an old movie update from me that went really long.
Not ranty, but I mean, you could kind of think it as nice ranty.
Well, you know what happens is that there are a couple of subjects that if you open the door, I already have a problem with talking too long. That's not a good thing to get me talking about.
He has no problem talking long about that. But if you're looking for some movies to watch this weekend, Obi's always into classic movies. Yeah. So one of our listeners texted to find out some options.
So please feel free to send yours. We talk about games, freedom to do things differently, and Bill Gates.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's how we will end the podcast, too?
No.
Did you see?
After Bill Gates, there's peak hot dog eating performance.
Okay, that'll be good.
That'll at least leave us out on a high note, right?
So don't forget to text and say hello, or if you have a comment on anything we cover in the podcast, send it to 877-2-RADIO-U, including any classic movies you think Obi should be adding to his list, or follow us at Radio U Riot on our Facebook page. You can message us there, and we'll see it and include you in the show.
All right, we good?
Enjoy the day.
Bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Well, it happened again. Sometime in the night, some terrible, dark, evil something was unleashed here in the Radio U building.
I feel like it's been a while, and this at least was not in the studio. So there is a plus to this,
but
guess?
There was a presence. It was weird.
Oh, this was evil.
I opened, we have like an outer door and then an inner door. So like I opened the outer door and I walk in and I couldn't figure out what was wrong, but it was just this sensation that something in the world
was not right.
Like something was wrong.
I was actually afraid because I was right in front of you. I thought, oh, he better not think that was me, but it is
like you left
bad.
A little something behind.
It's very bad, but it was someone who left something in the trash in the break room.
Like, okay, doesn't it occur to you? And I realize I'm asking for a lot.
Sure.
But, you know, when you're like, this reeks, I'm going to throw it away. And then you're like, and I'll just go home and not think about it again.
You think that, yes, then it belongs in the trash. Maybe the person didn't know, like, that it was going
how bad it was going to be.
Yeah, like it was going to develop into that. It's either Hudson, JR, and Lex. Like, there's only so many that we have.
It was bad, guys.
I'm putting money on Hudson, but does the blame lay at his door?
It seems like it. Quite frankly, look for the door that's green and glowing.
Yeah, just to see what it is.
Because
so we're not gonna, officially comment on who it was, but for whoever it was, shame, because it was bad.
Man, not just shame, but like, Do you need help? Like,
That's the only thing must be that it was not that bad when they left.
I just feel like it's a subtle cry for help. Somebody is just like, I need something.
It was gagging. It was bad.
Nikki literally.
I had to take the trash out of the trash can, and when you lifted it up, it just went woof.
When she picked it up, I walked into the dumpster. Oh, when I got it into the open air,
you couldn't smell it.
It wasn't that bad.
That's
I know
good.
I can still smell it. But as Nikki's pulling the trash bag out, she starts coughing.
It just gets in there.
I love that. It's like, bro, it's so bad. I'm coughing right now.
It's taking away your breath. It was terrible.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to move on past it, but let's just say that was not something we expected, and the rest of the building's airing out. So thankfully, though, it was not in the studio. If people leave stuff in the trash in the studio, then it can get really bad. Because then we have to sit here and do the show while we're smelling it. At least the smell's out there.
I'll say this. Like, maybe you're right. Maybe it could have been worse, but it was pretty bad.
Out there, it was the worst I think we've ever had. But thank goodness it wasn't in here.
Wow.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Hey, tell me, how do I look this morning?
Yeah, you look good. I mean, did you do anything different?
Wait.
Oh, did you shave?
No. I want you to pretend I have a mask on.
Okay. Nothing.
How do I look?
Nothing looks too different.
Okay, because I stopped at a gas station today.
Sure.
And got a soda on my way in. And I mean, I don't do that very often, but it's the same dude who works nights at this gas station. So like, I don't like know him, but he just said to me, he's like, "Hey man, you all right?"
Oh, that's weird, isn't it, when that happens?
And I was just like, oh gosh. Like, what?
What's wrong?
What subtle signal am I sending? Or maybe what not so subtle signal?
Well, it has to be your eyes. Do you have tired eyes?
Do I?
Well, I
Here,
guess.
look.
No, it looks. Now I see you every morning.
I take my glasses off and I got my eyes wide open staring at Nikki.
It doesn't seem any different.
So I mean, yeah. So I wouldn't look any different to that guy,
sure,
right?
Absolutely. That happens when someone will be like, "Hey, are you okay?" Or "Are you feeling all right?" And that one time you're actually feeling fine.
Right. It's like, where were you yesterday?
When I wasn't feeling good. Like, why are you saying it now when you feel like you feel fine?
Yeah. No, there must be something.
Did you order something different? Maybe
No,
that's
there's
it.
not
Like,
even ordering
hey,
different.
you didn't get the same size, or like, hey, are you right, man? That sort of thing.
Nope.
No, you didn't get like
Nothing.
You skipped out on a food item you always get, or
no, like I just got a soda, which is all I would ever get at that time of day.
did you have a tone? Like, it wasn't like, hey, all right.
It wasn't like mean. It was like legitimately like, hey, you all right?
Weird.
I know.
You should ask him.
Well,
Then that gets weirder, and it is
think
just the
so.
person working there.
And,
so
yeah, I mean, and
you don't really know him.
So we stopped and we talked video games for a while. We just started talking.
You talked video games with the guy at the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then he does know you.
Apparently, I have that look about me.
It's in your eyes.
Yeah, he told me what he'd been playing, and I was just like, "Man, we're just talking. It's fine. Am I okay?
Wait, let's go back to why you said that.
Am I all right?"
That's weird.
It was
But it's okay. It's just weird.
Yeah. No, but what I'm asking is like, am I okay?
You look fine. Your eyes look fine.
Are
They're
you
not
sure?
glassy or anything.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to take your
They're
word.
not red. Sometimes Obi's nose gets a little red.
Yeah.
But it's not. Like, you're fine.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. Why don't you walk in and pretend to put something down?
And then like look me in the eyes.
Yeah, like put your soda down like we're checking out, and then that way I could look at you like how it would be.
Get a fresh glance.
Yeah, and then now I'll see if I notice anything.
Okay. All right. Okay. So hey, up in a couple of minutes, let's talk about something you could be doing this week at home if maybe you're not feeling so good. Maybe the people around you
are you not feeling okay?
Are you okay? Hey, are you all right?
Wow, not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
For me, one of the bummers of summer has not been when is Major League Baseball back? When's the NFL back? You know, for me, it was, where did E3 go? The Electronics Entertainment Expo. That is the World Series for video game nerds.
And it's not like Obi was going, but you had so much news that would come out of it, and that kind of fueled even going into like Thanksgiving and like what was the holidays going to look like for all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so they've broken them up and split them up, and I've got some other news on that later, but I will tell you something that is still on, even though it's not happening, is San Diego Comic-Con, or this year, as it's called, Comic-Con at Home.
So it's definitely not anything in person, but they are doing it virtually.
Yeah, they're still doing all of these virtual panels. And I mean, if it's funny, for the most part for me, Comic-Con is all about what's the new movie trailer that's going to come out, what that sort of thing. But there are lots of smaller panels about things that are actually comic book related. Art and the Holocaust. There's one. Body talk, visual storytelling mediums, and the kinds of bodies featured therein. Like stuff like that. Building a geek brand, how to survive a pandemic. You know, these are, again, you're like, well,
where's the movie panel?
When's the Star Wars Trek panel? Or whatever.
Are they not going to do that as much since everything's just on hold?
They're still happening. I mean, keeping in mind that I have not looked through the entire schedule.
Yeah.
But I know that the Star Trek Picard panel, or just in general, the Star Trek panel, because remember, they just came off that show, and then they have a bunch of new Star Trek shows for CBS All Access.
Now, Comic-Con was always fun because then when you watched a panel, it's usually them all lined up, like in a big room with people asking questions and a lot of energy because the whole cast was together. I assume, though, this will all be where people are isolated and it'll be a big Zoom call. Is that what we think it'll look like?
Yes.
Like they won't be together.
Yeah. Nikki, there's a Mystery Science Theater panel!
Hey, are you going to tag to watch that?
I would say yes, except that it's tonight these are West Coast times.
Yeah.
So it's 10 Eastern. I got to tell you, I'm supposed to be in bed then.
Oh, no, you could stay up.
I'm pretty sure they archive it.
It's Thursday. You can just not sleep. Tomorrow's Friday. We can push through that.
And I hate how nerdy. Like, I hate that we're even having a discussion like, I don't want to stay up too late.
And it's 10.
Oh, I hate that. I hate it.
We get up so early, though, that it's,
I know.
it is a worry.
But I'll tell you what, that's something, I'm pretty sure they're archiving the panels because there were panels last night.
Yeah.
You can see them all on YouTube. You can either go to comic-con.org, and they actually have a whole schedule where you can watch them live if you want to, or you can, catch archives. And to be clear, it is free. So that's pretty cool. Did anybody else see that Starship Excelsior tea set they were selling yesterday?
Anybody?
It's sold out, guys.
Did it really?
Yeah, you know what? It's featured in the movie.
That's why.
I'll actually say, I'm normally like, this stuff it's too nerdy for me. It was a coffee cup, Nikki.
You love coffee cups. You love those.
I absolutely.
You could have bought it.
Could have bought that. I could have. When I saw it, I was like, darn you for how nerdy this is, and yet I would buy it.
And yet you love it.
Darn you.
Well, if anybody sees the Mystery Science Theater one tonight, if Obi doesn't get to watch it at first, but if not, watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it's happening.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
Listen, I don't want to be too dramatic in all of this.
Which means, hang on, he's about ready to be dramatic.
Maybe. Like, guys, I don't know if I can take it. Now, I'm not going to get specific here, but I am going to tell you that I saw two old men taking swipes at each other in the news yesterday. And that may or may not be related to an upcoming election season. And man, when I see that and I'm looking at it, it's almost like I've forgotten. Oh, we have not yet begun.
Yeah, it hasn't even started.
We haven't even started getting truly divisive and ugly in our country yet. We haven't even started yet. You're like, well, I mean, in some ways, the election campaign has been going on for 4 years.
Sure.
I mean, pretty much the campaign started the day after the election. And I get that, but man, I can't.
But maybe the virus and the quarantine and all that stuff and the mask stuff will make people tired enough. You know, like when your mom would have you go play to get your energy out, and then you were calm and quiet afterwards. Like, this is all getting everyone's energy out, and then maybe we'll be calmer afterwards.
I'll tell you right now, and I'm sincere about this. I'm really thinking about taking the day after the election off.
Yeah, you should.
So we just...
Wait, what day? It's on a Tuesday, right?
So it would be a Wednesday. So, like... There's no show that day. There's this element of, I feel a sense of social responsibility that we should be here for you guys.
Yeah, that is true.
That, like,
don't leave me just on my own.
It's a hard day. It'll be a hard, half the nation will be pretty disappointed, et cetera, et cetera. It's all that.
If you don't be very vocal about it ahead of time, people will think you're upset about whatever the outcome will be, when really you just don't want to be a part of any of it.
I know. And here's what I'm thinking. Okay. Okay, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, let's do this. What if we took the first 2 weeks of November off?
First 2 weeks.
So we don't have to look at the news leading up to it.
Sure.
And then we don't have to look at the news after. And you know what? I'll just go on a total news blackout. I'll still go cast my vote, and then I won't even know how it went until the Monday after the election. I'll be like, oh, that's weird. The whole world's on fire. I thought I smelled smoke.
Well, you're going to have to find a cabin in the woods, because that's the only place you're going to be able to hide out at. I don't know about 2 weeks.
It's kind of, admittedly,
let's just see how it feels when we get closer to November.
For our industry, 2 weeks is kind of a long time to just disappear. But I mean, maybe not. Maybe it's a good idea.
We could all do it.
We'll all just unplug.
We'll all just take 2 weeks.
It'll be like, probably late October. We'll just be high-fiving. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. I hope we're all still here.
See you next month.
Maybe we'll get lucky and the comet will come. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Let's not make plans now, because plans change.
Plans do change,
so,
but daggone, man.
We see what you're interested in doing, and we'll get back to that closer to November.
It's crazy out there. Good luck, y'all. We can do it. We're going to hang together. We can do this.
I don't know.
We can do it.
Is it Christmas yet? Or I was thinking about snow the other day. Do you know how much things like nice they are when it's snowing?
I just hope there is Christmas and it does snow. How about that?
Probably not going to be, and the snow will be bad for us.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
So, Nikki, today is July 23rd, which all of you nerds have no doubt got tattooed on your heart, because today is the day that we're supposed to see all that Xbox stuff.
Oh, today is the Xbox Day thing.
Oh, yeah, it is. So, am I excited? No.
Hey, you'll be excited once this stuff's out, but I don't think you're not going to go through it live, are you?
Well, I just want to be careful. Like, I'm not excited, but I'm interested.
Yeah.
I want to know.
I think you're leaning towards getting the new PlayStation, though, compared to the new Xbox.
Right.
But it doesn't mean they don't have other news.
No, and keep in mind that Microsoft will put all of their Xbox games on PC. So I'll play them there for sure. And so I am interested. I want to see Halo Infinite. That's probably the one that I'm the most curious about, and they say that's their big one for today. You're going to see the new Halo. I wonder what it's going to be like. I think it's going to end up looking an awful lot like Destiny 2.
Oh, well, that one did so well. So.
That's what I think it's going to end up looking like.
I'm sure. I actually feel that they went into a meeting and said, hey, make it like that. I could see that very well happening.
And most of us, well, I don't know if anybody knows, but the people that made Destiny 2 are the people that made the original Halo. So
they have the right to make it look like that.
Well, no. Like, they're gone. They've split off. Like, Bungie went off, and they were owned by Microsoft, and they bought themselves back.
Sure.
And they went off into Destiny, and Microsoft created 343, and they're the ones that continue making Halo.
I see.
So, I don't know that, but I'm speculating. We're also supposed to see a bunch more of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which, could that game look any more like The Witcher 3? I mean, Assassin's Creed has been cribbing The Witcher stuff forever, and now, dude, it's the art design. They might as well just call it Witcher 4 and get it over with. Let's see. What else are they going to show?
They're not going to officially do that, though.
They should.
But they're not going to.
They expect to see more of Dirt 5, The Medium. Maybe. There are rumors that we would see Fable 4, but we'll see Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, and Psychonauts 2, probably. So,
anything on the console, though, or just game stuff?
Wouldn't you love to get a release date and a price on the console? Just kidding.
You'll probably just get game stuff then.
I don't think that they will. So, you know what? My guess is, I don't know this, but I'll bet we'll see some Cyberpunk 2077. Maybe a little bit about Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Well, we'll talk tomorrow if they actually cover anything.
Well, I mean, we'll talk tomorrow anyway.
Anyways, but we'll get you guys caught up in case they do cover something.
Oh, yeah, totally. But for me, now it's going to be noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific today, and you can do the math for anything in between or around the world. But my plan is when it's all over, then I just go back and watch all the trailers they upload to YouTube. So
I don't this afternoon plan, don't you?
I don't have to watch it in real time. I just wait for the highlights.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Man, this tops bizarre for me in things that you and I as consumers never think about. Aluminum cans. Mm-hmm. Do you think about it? Maybe you try to remember that if you get a can to put it in the trash.
Well, but I mean, you just think it'll always be there.
And by the trash, I mean the recycling bin, obviously.
It's like, wait, you're supposed to put it there.
I don't get anything that comes in an aluminum can. Like, I don't buy 12 packs of soda.
But I mean, we have them here every so often.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a matter of never, but I would say the aluminum can is not a part of my day-to-day life.
If the 2-liter was going out.
Yeah, the plastic bottle would be a little more of a thing.
That'd be a little bit more of a worry, but if you're a drinker from a can, then there is going to be what they're saying is a aluminum shortage.
Okay, and this aluminum shortage is, it's aluminum can shortage. So they say that what's happening is it's kind of a mixture of market events, but a lot of it is when COVID-19 hit.
Yeah.
People started stockpiling beer. You stockpiled beer, guys.
People stockpiled beer and drank, I think, a lot more.
Right.
And they just said that it's not been able to recover from people purchasing so much. So you had toilet paper. Now the coin shortage thing is still going around.
Yep.
That's bigger than we ever thought because a lot of places will just take credit. They're not taking cash. And now they say aluminum cans are the same thing.
Yeah. And so this is leading to just a shortage. So this is amazing to me. You can go to buy beer. They're like, yeah, we don't have it.
Well, that's why you might start noticing that they're out of stock.
And it's not that there's no beer. They just don't have anything to put it in. And so they have started up new factories to make aluminum cans. They're bringing in cans from Europe.
Really?
So that they can can stuff in them and ship it out. But they say that it could take up to a year
to be
for
able
the
to recover.
aluminum can supply chain to get back in order.
They're also calling another part of the factor the White Claw factor.
Yes.
Because drinks like that have become so popular that, it's a 12-ounce can, it's aluminum can, and it's caused a shortage, too.
The hard seltzer, as they call it. So, yeah.
Even though they're not saying anything about soda.
In the article, say anything about that.
It's all about the shortage on beer and alcohol and stuff, but they don't mention too much about any other drinks that might be affected by this.
Well, maybe beer's the real aluminum can mover. Maybe people buy more beer than soda.
If not, I think they just want to give that crowd a heads up.
So they're the ones that are
they're worried about the most. They want to make sure that people realize, or they're trying to get them to go out and buy more.
Well, you can't get beer in plastic bottles, can you?
I don't think so.
Can't get a 2-liter of beer. It's not a thing.
I think that comes usually in glass. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know either. So be careful out there. Aluminum. No. Look, if you've got aluminum, maybe there's a chance for you to make a little money on that aluminum. You know what I'm saying?
People can go ahead and start selling that stuff.
You've been hoarding it for a long time. Maybe it's time to.
I was trying to see if there's anything else, but that's really the biggest talk that they have about it. But nothing else about soda and stuff.
Psst, hey, kid, you want to buy some aluminum cans?
No.
No. Oh.
Hey, 21 and older? No.
They're empty?
I'm just teasing.
They're empty?
Well, you didn't say that at first, did you?
I guess I didn't.
You just said cans.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
What does your sheriff and Lowe's have in common? Neither one of them are going to enforce the mask mandate in their spaces.
So employees still have to wear masks, right?
So
and you're told to wear masks.
Here's the idea with Lowe's. They're saying that they're going to make their employees wear a mask. And I'm talking about Lowe's, like the construction store, home improvement store. Sorry, whatever. So they say that absolutely employees have to wear a mask. But as a customer, if you come in, they're going to have signage everywhere.
Yeah.
But they are not making their employees make you wear a mask.
So let me try to read between the words there, though. If you're in an area where you're supposed to,
yes,
then are they saying their employees won't have to deal with the
basically yes
person, but they'll still call like someone else to enforce it, or what?
Oh, I don't think so.
So they won't call the cops to enforce it on you.
I think it's just essentially
they don't want to have the employees have to deal with the person.
Exactly. They are going to ask people. They're going to, have the signage for it. And that is, the signage will be their ask. They are not going to force their employees to speak up and say something to you.
So they won't kick you out, or?
No. So it says, let me give you a quote. We will not ask our associates to put their safety at risk by confronting customers about wearing masks. So we are consistently requesting that customers wear masks for the safety of everyone in stores. So again, they're saying that they'll have their signs up, but they're not going to come up and say to you, put a mask on.
I bet they'll leave that to the other people in the store who are wearing masks, who will be more than happy to speak up.
Well, I listened to a governor yesterday say, like, hey, let's not put a stigma on this. Like,
yeah, that is true.
The idea was like, hey, if you see somebody wearing a mask, assume it's for a medical reason.
If they're not wearing a mask.
If they're not wearing
that's
one.
True.
Just leave it at that.
Don't go in it with both masks blazing. Like you have to stop a second and still, treat people kindly.
I actually think this is probably a great idea. Can you imagine how terrible it would be if you had to, like, you go to work and not only do you have to know where the caulking is, but you also have to say to people, excuse me, you have to wear a mask.
Well, it's not fair. There's been tons of videos. I watched one at Home Depot because you get like...
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
You get basically people like two sides of things, and both sides are doing it. You get one who goes in who's not for wearing a mask and goes in on purpose and goes in filming it.
Yeah, it goes looking for a confrontation.
To make a confrontation, to make a viral video, to do something with their point that they're trying to make. So you have that one. Then you have the other side who's looking for people, the other ones, so that they can go in and also make a video on why those people are, like all this stuff. Everybody's trying to get in and get on a viral video with this confrontation stuff.
Everybody's looking for clicks.
Yeah, and it's very hard to watch those because the theme throughout all of them is the poor employee who's just trying to, while wearing a mask themselves, just do their job, and it's tough to see that.
Well, there you go. Lowe's is not going to enforce it. So if you want to go live the mask-free life at a store,
don't be that way. Don't be that way to them.
Well, they're not allowed to say anything.
Just order online or pick up or whatever, but don't go in like that.
All right, if you say so, Nikki.
Is anybody else doing that, or is that just Lowe's saying it?
You know what? They are the ones that got out and said that yesterday. Like, from there, where are we going to go? I don't know. Are there a lot of people confronting each other right now? Yeah, great idea. We should all confront each other today. Or not.
No, let's not do that.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So Eli he just texted Nikki. He used that number to reach out.
This was him. It's not you. It's him who wanted to know, but he wanted to know if you have any old movie ideas for like going into the weekend tomorrow.
If I had a classic movie that I was looking for this weekend, which is what I've been doing. I have been watching old movies for weeks now.
We're out of new stuff, honestly. So he just goes into classic movies, and classic can be up to you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some people would disagree on what is a classic. So over the last few weeks, it's been mostly science fiction. Shocker. I've watched The Day the Earth Stood Still. Over the weekend, I watched It Came from Another World, or It Came from Another Planet. That is, even for classic sci-fi, that's not a very good one.
It's bad.
Yeah, that's not good. Now, some of those old sci-fi movies I could heartily recommend to you.
Was that one bad when it came out, though, or was it like considered? It's groundbreaking.
I didn't do much reading on it. It was shot in 3D. I know that, but that's about all I know about it. This weekend, I think that, I mean, no guarantees, but if you're good.
Wait, Eli, you got it ready to write it down?
I am probably going to watch War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
It's another 50s sci-fi movie. It has gotten a 4K remaster only on iTunes. So it's the only place that I know of that you can get it. And they had a sale on it a week or two ago for $5. So I picked it up. And it's my intention to
weekend?
Watch that this weekend.
Now, not the Tom Cruise one, but the other one.
Interestingly enough, that movie also got a sound remix by Ben Burt, which is he was the sound engineer on, I think, all of the Star Wars movies. And he did a remix of the sound, but I think that might only be available on the Criterion Blu-ray, which I am not going to be purchasing.
Mitch texted that we're going to watch Catch Me If You Can. Was that the Leonardo Dicaprio
Yes,
one?
Leo, Tom Hanks, directed by Steven Spielberg.
I think I remember that being pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Watched Gattaca last weekend.
I didn't like Gattaca very much.
Okay, well, it's Obi's input on that.
Well, I'm just being honest.
Arthur said, I've never seen Logan's Run, but I heard it was good.
Last Day, Logan 5.
Is that a classic movie?
I love Logan's Run. It's not a great movie, but I love it.
Let's just always say that. I mean, Obi's never saying these are all great movies, okay?
No.
They all have their problems.
Did I tell you that I watched Rollerball?
Which one's that?
Okay, Rollerball 1975. No, I did. I watched this last week. 1975 sci-fi movie about a kind of dystopian future where the world is run by corporations and there's this game called Rollerball that is, I don't know, like everybody watches it and it's run by the corporations.
Yeah.
And it's got, crap, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's in The Godfather and like he's a pretty well-known actor. It was either, and I couldn't decide, it was either brilliant or shockingly bad.
James Caan.
James Caan! That's it!
Yeah.
And they did a remake with Freddie Prinze Jr. in the late 90s.
Weird.
Didn't watch that one.
What I love is all the movies that you watch, like classic stuff. You know, you watch the old ones, and then there's always like a remake that's already been done that it itself is also old.
Oh, yeah, the remakes are old, too.
These are just some older movies.
Well, they went, like, as you'll recall, like, probably the first decade of the 2000s was like the decade of the remakes. They remade every 70s TV show, every 70s movie, like all that stuff. They just dipped back 30 years and brought stuff back. So, let's see. Anybody else?
Jason said he recently watched the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Okay, that's on my list. I've never seen that. I saw a remake from a few years ago, and the 70s remake's supposed to be a real classic as well. I've never seen it. So that's on the list.
See, look, guys, we don't need new movies. We're fine. We can find all these old movies.
I need to have I seen The Last Starfighter? Eli, come on.
Are you new to the show? Or?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Of course I have.
I haven't, but he has.
Yeah. So, all right, that's where I'm at. That's what I've been watching. So, Eli asked. I wasn't going to make you guys listen to that, but at least 3 of you were interested. Good job.
The Riot is well-versed on many different topics.
They're shy at first, but they're quite skilled at conversation.
This is The Riot on Radio U.
So we ended up talking old movies because, I mean, I like that stuff, right? And Eli asked. Oh.
So anytime
it was an excuse.
Anytime you guys want to ask anything, you're more than welcome to. You just text 877 Radio U and toss your name in there when you text if you've never done that before.
But you know, Nikki, speaking of classics, Disney continues to pump out their movies over and over again to give you something to watch. Over the weekend, Beauty and the Beast, the live action version starring Emma Watson.
From years ago?
From 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 years ago, it was at the top of the box office.
So what happens is, again, we're at the point where there's no new movies, and they usually throw in a few that came out like in January and February. But even that, at this point, those are all like completely, they're out to buy and rent. So movie theaters that can open in certain areas, what are they supposed to play? Or even the drive-in theaters?
Well, I'll tell you what they're playing, Nikki.
They go to Disney.
They're playing old Disney movies. So apparently this week, or it was 2 weeks ago, they re-released Iron Man, the first one from 2008.
Yeah, that was top. And then wasn't Empire Strikes Back?
Empire Strikes
that was
Back.
Like the week before that.
Its 40th anniversary, and it played, it was top of the box office. And then Ghostbusters the week before that.
So you have all these old movies that are the top of the box office, which used to be just reserved for new movies.
Yeah. I never saw the Beauty and the Beast live action remake. Did you?
I did.
I mean, I have Disney Plus. Maybe I should go home and watch it. Just kidding.
It's not the best out of them, I feel, but it did really well.
Would it be enough to get you to go back to the movie theater?
No, but if you did like a drive-in or you just really wanted to go watch something, these are smart choices that they're picking.
Oh, I don't think, let me be clear. Like, I totally will go to the movies to see a movie that I even have at home.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do it.
At this point, people just want to go to the movies. So it made almost $500,000 at 527 theater locations.
Hey, man, that's kind of cool to find out there's 500 theaters that are open. So I hope if you're getting to go to the movies, which we're not, we hope you're having a good time.
They are saying, though, that a bulk of the film, the gross of the film, was actually still from drive-ins. So this is the top movie that they're putting in drive-in theaters because AMC, Regal, and Cinemark are still closed.
Nikki, we need to go to a drive-in.
I've never been, and you guys keep saying they're fun. I think like that's all that we'll get here in the future. So
we should do it.
Yeah,
we should go to a drive-in. Like, I mean, we won't. But we should.
Well, they'll have to pick something else. Again, Beauty and the Beast, it seems like a good pick, but ours is a distance away, and I'm not driving for that. So.
No, the reason I'm such a baby.
Watch it on Netflix as I drive out there.
I'm such a baby because of this show. We have to get up too early. Like, I don't want to stay up all night, literally. Like, the last movie's over by 3. We've got to be here a little after 5. Nah. We've done that before. That's not fun. It sounds fun.
But it's not that fun.
It sounds like a ton of fun until you're doing it.
You know what I really miss? And I should have had a better attitude, because I miss going through the bad parking lot of the movie theater that we like to go to. And I used to complain the parking lot was trash.
Parking lot sucks.
Then you'd walk in and like the toilets were always like gushing water. The seats were amazingly comfortable but always had rips in them. Sure. I miss that. Like the flies during the time I was trying to watch a movie that were on the projector thing. I miss that.
See?
And I was bad attituding it during the time because I thought, oh, this place needs cleaned up. And I should have had a better attitude with it.
Yeah,
because at least I had it.
You never know what you miss until it's gone.
That's the place you got the botulism thing. Like,
I know that was botulism cheese.
Yeah, you got sick from the cheese with the pretzels. Like, those are the good memories, and we don't get those anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
I want to pay $20-something for a bag of popcorn.
Oh, I can arrange. Hey, I can arrange that for you. Don't worry.
I want to pay for the fountain drink that couldn't ever have Diet Dr. Pepper properly working. I miss that.
See?
I just miss that. And then you'd get in the theater, try your Diet Dr. Pepper. It was terrible. You'd have to go back out and get something else.
We love you, Marcus. We love you.
We totally miss
Come
you.
back.
I really miss going to the theaters.
I'm sorry for what I said when I was satisfied, but with other things, I want you.
Remember that mean thing that I said when I went to the bathroom and the toilet was overflowing everywhere? I'm sorry.
You're listening to the worst of the Riot, Radio U.
I want a PlayStation 5 and I want it now.
You're going to have to wait. We're going to have to see how much money it is.
See how much money it is. And just a reminder, you're not getting one.
Well, why not?
Because they're not making them. It's all a lie.
They'll tell us at the last minute.
Be like, guys, this was all just a big publicity stunt. Just kidding.
And you do kind of feel like you're being strung along.
Yeah.
But at this point, since we've been strung along so long, it'd be really weird if they did push it back or cancel it.
So here's where we are, Nikki. We've got today at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, Microsoft is going to be having a big press conference. They're going to unveil a bunch of their new games, and then a bunch of third parties will come out and show off their games. Now, the rumor with this PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X is that games are going to go from $60 new to $70
Oh,
new.
there'll be kind of a industry-wide price increase?
That, yes, we will see.
What does that make the Switch games then?
Well, the interesting thing about the Switch games is they're usually $50 or $60, but they're 5 years old and never go on sale.
They're just always that price.
So they're like, you can play 2015's hit The Witcher 3 or 2013's hit Skyrim.
For a full price.
Only $60 now on the Switch.
But for Microsoft and PlayStation, they're saying that should go up to $70.
That is the rumor.
The rumors.
Like, that is, in fact, but it's the kind of rumor that I keep seeing it everywhere, and you're like, oh, this doesn't look good.
But was it Ubisoft who said something different?
They sure did. The president of Ubisoft came out yesterday and said, hey, $60.
They're still staying at $60.
Now, but there is a catch. If you look closely at what he said, he was like, games will be $60 at least for the rest of the year.
Oh, see, when things get trending, they leave out that part because everybody was like, ooh, Ubisoft is so nice. They're staying at $60, but they didn't say anything about that.
You know what I don't have here, though, is I don't have the direct quote because this article that I linked for the two of us, it just says $60. But I read another article that said they were saying $60 for this year. This article says $60 on new platforms, quote unquote. So Ubisoft's about to release a huge, they are the company that has a wave of new games hitting this over the next, let's say, 6 months. Because this fall they have Watch Dogs Legion and a new Assassin's Creed. And then in February, they've got Far Cry 6. And I feel like they have one more game I'm not thinking of. But they've got kind of a suite of new games that are ready to launch on these consoles. So we'll see.
Well, think about this. You got to save up if you're going to do a console, one of the new ones. And games look like, depending on where you get them, on the other side, outside of Ubisoft, will move to that $70.
I think that more and more, you know what I've started subscribing to? There's a Reddit forum called Patient Gamers. And it's basically a group of people that are like, yeah, I don't buy the new games.
Oh, you wait a while.
I wait a little bit. Wait till they get patched. Wait till they whatever.
I think that's
wait
part
till
of
the
the
price
reason
drops.
why they are doing this. I think some of it is, what's that term, like you hit the glass ceiling? Like the console price can only go so much higher.
Right.
Like there's got to be a limit. And I feel like a lot of people assume we've got to be close to the limit for the price of these things. So they make money off accessories and games. That's still very common. So, of course, they're going to go after making the games to at least get a little bit more money because they can't raise the console prices more than they have.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like, to me, I don't know why. I realize it's $10 more, but the problem with $70 over $60 is that we're so much closer to $100.
$100?
And I got to tell you, there's part of me that's like, just wait.
And you're not even getting for most a physical copy anymore, but it's still going up in price.
I'll just wait until there's a sale, maybe. Or not. Maybe I get suckered in. Who knows?
The Riot, Radio U.
I just straight want you to know, Jesus is nuts. Like, when you start getting to know who God is, it's like he just wants to take your world and turn it completely upside down. A lot of people talk about God like as a probably, best way for you to get a pony. And I don't know, maybe you started a relationship with God and that pony you always wanted is just around the corner. I am not in charge of the pony distribution department. So I can't
Otherwise, I'd have one.
Yeah, that's right. I would make sure Nikki had the pony that she needed. But here's one of the things that blows my mind. So, like, as Americans, where do we come from? We're like, man, we're free. Do what I want. I do what I want. And we think that's what freedom is. But I was reading last night where God's kind of saying, like, hey, you know what? I want to make you free so that you can love other people and serve them and help them. Like, wait, nah. Is
that not what everybody thinks at first?
That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for free for me. And God's like, dude, I'm going to totally free you up so you can help other people. Can we get back on me? Can we get back on my stuff?
But that does help you by helping others.
See, God wants to show you a different way to live. And there's two ways that we can do this. I can promise you riches untold that you may never find, or I can promise you a different way to live that is better than chasing riches untold. I'll just tell you, Jesus wants to show you a different way to do things. And one of the things he wants to show you is that you are important, but so are other people. He wants to fill you so full of his love, and he wants you to experience his love so much that it spills out onto people around you. And look around. Don't you think we could use a little bit more love? You could use a little bit more, but so could some other people. Listen, you need to experience Jesus for yourself. You need to find out what he's really like, because I will tell you, he is a lot different than I think a lot of people are showing him to you. So right now, don't wait. There's nothing about you that disqualifies you from getting to know God, from bringing God into your life. He wants to show you a different way to do things. And that means that if everything else isn't working out, maybe a different way is a great idea. Just say, Jesus, I want that. I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. And I want you to show me this different way to live, this different way to do things. What does it look like? Man, you are so loved. And this is just the start.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
Just want to give you a heads up that Bill Gates has gotten out there, and he's obviously lying. But he wants to get out there and tell you that everybody else is lying. So who are you going to believe? Your friend that obviously knows everything on Facebook, or Bill Gates?
So are you saying, because there's been a bit of a conspiracy theory going around COVID, usually that involves like Bill Gates and a few others, but mostly Bill Gates being in it? So
here's the idea. I've heard a couple, and they are like, hey, everyone gets a COVID test, but what they're doing is poking your blood-brain barrier.
Or implanting stuff.
They'll poke it, and it makes you more docile. Or they poke it because they're actually implanting a chip so that they can track you.
That's a popular one going around.
Why do they need to implant a chip to track you? You carry your phone to the bathroom with you.
We don't need tracking.
You can't bear to be parted with one of the most technologically sophisticated tracking and listening devices on the planet.
I know.
Even better, you paid for it.
That's true.
You paid to carry that thing around, and you think they've manufactured a crisis to implant a chip in you? Have you thought it through?
Well, there was a survey that said about 28% of U.S. adults believed a different conspiracy theory, usually around COVID stuff, that Bill Gates planned to use a potential vaccine for COVID-19 to implant microchips in the people to monitor their movements.
That's right. And you know what? It's interesting. If you go back to the X-Files, a TV show that was popular in the 90s, one of the key conspiracies there was that the polio vaccine was used by the government and the aliens to catalog all humans, especially in the United States, so that they could keep track of them.
I don't know, not saying with this one, but sometimes it's hard with conspiracy theories. You watch a couple of YouTube documentaries on certain things, and you could start believing some of it. And then on the other hand, you're like, well, wait a minute, no, and you slow down. It's hard.
I understand our mistrust of authority. I really do, but
because some of it you find out ends up being true. Not all of it, but some of it you do.
Some of it. But one of the best statements I've heard from anybody, a guy who I look up to very much, an author named Dallas Willard, he said something once where he said, doubt your faith, but doubt your doubts. Mm-hmm. And his point is that if you have a doubt about something, you need to, hold your doubts to the same standards that you are holding the other things to. And a lot of times our doubts don't hold up.
Sure.
And I feel like in a lot of what I am seeing from people, it's like, listen, I realize that part of you, it makes perfect sense that the government wants to track you and whatever, but... All right, I'm going to say it.
What?
I wasn't going to say it, but I want you to think.
Now you're going to say it?
Here we go. Think about this for just a minute. I want you to think about this. We as a people send our kids to what? Government-run schools, right? We all attended one, and you send your kids there, and whatever. We're going to government-run schools to be educated. You're carrying around this sophisticated tracking device. Every financial transaction you make is tracked unless you're spending cash, which you're not. And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, guys, every single thing I just mentioned you've been doing it for 20 years and you've done it willingly and happily. But now somebody is like, put a little cloth on your face, or we think you might be sick. We want to help you. And it's like, Bill Gates is trying to track my movements. Dude, Bill Gates already knows everything about you if he wants to.
So they're also saying, though, that some of this comes down to, it's not necessarily that you're maybe afraid that it's implanting something in you for this vaccine or the test if you take it, but they're saying about half of Americans say they would get a coronavirus vaccine if one that was workable. But they said, among people who would not get one, 7 in 10 worry basically about the safety of it. Bill Gates also in this stuff said that a potential vaccine would probably have to be 2 doses rather than 1, which limits the amount of people that could get vaccinated because you'd have to have a higher quantity.
This is exactly what happened with polio. Exactly. I mean, it was a new vaccine. The difference will be that the guy who made the polio vaccine gave it away. And I can already tell you, whoever comes up with the COVID vaccine, they're going to charge big time. Mm-hmm. That's the way that's going to work. But I mean, all of the concerns, all of the fears, all of it, it's all the same. And I'm not saying that necessarily means that it's not to dismiss it, but it's to understand that this is not new. As a country, even, we have been through a lot of this before. We just didn't have Facebook then, I guess.
We weren't then. We weren't around then.
All right. Well, enough of me yelling. You do you.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on Radio U.
Let's face it, there's not a lot of ways left for you to get to fame and fortune. All right. A lot of the venues have been taken, but I do feel like there is still one place that we can all go and potentially compete. And that is, of course, the hot dog competitive eating scene.
Well, that was Nathan's had theirs on the 4th of July, right? But it was a crowdless competition. I think it was still televised, but you couldn't be there if you weren't the crew or one of the competitors.
I'm telling you that as of right now, the current record at Nathan's is 74 hot dogs.
And how many seconds or how many minutes?
I don't know how many minutes they get for that. I don't remember.
What if it's not minutes? What if it's a minute? How long is it?
But I will tell you this right now. Oh, did I say 74? It's 75.
75 hot dogs?
Joey Chestnut ate 75 at the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. But there's still a chance for you. Dr. James Smoliga, he is the department chair of physical therapy at High Point University. He has been analyzing data from all of the hot dog eating contests. And he says that his main interest is what are the limits of performance. So he says based on human physiology plus data of previous ones, he says that the absolute top number is 84 hot dogs. It's 10 minutes.
10 minutes for Nathan's hot dog contest, but like no one could probably get over that.
He says 84 is the limit. Now, what does that mean? We have 9 dogs to go.
So this kind of like the 4-minute mile thing?
Yeah, no one's broken the 4-minute mile.
So it's like this thing that we think you get to the point where it's probably impossible for the human body to do this.
Right, like there's a limitation.
Enhancements or special equipment, but it's probably impossible.
So what you're saying is you need to get a shark skin lined stomach,
Something.
and then you'll be able to do more.
Because if you look back probably in the old days when they did hot dog eating contests, now they dunk the buns in water and stuff because they found, well, that helps it. So that's why they had such a big increase with being able to eat more hot dogs.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to the original, they're like, Bob ate 15 hot dogs. That's insane.
Where now there's such bigger numbers in the 10 minutes you get.
75 is the current record. But as I said, there are a lot of doors that are being closed to you, a lot of world records being set. But there's still room, according to this study, for you to get in there and make it happen.
So they say you could get up to probably 84 hot dogs in 10 minutes in your body. I'd love a documentary or some sort of like show. I want to see how it is after. Like, are they sick for days?
Don't you think that's
fine?
got to exist somewhere, right?
I don't know.
You know what? You need to go on YouTube and look up Joey Chestnut.
And just see if he has anything?
He's probably got something,
Well,
right?
no, I don't even want to see the professional, like, the top ones. I want to see the ones that really push themselves, who don't win. Who are just trying to get...
They just think they can.
Yeah, so like maybe they overdo...
I like hot dogs a lot.
Like they overdo how many hot dogs they could eat, so they're probably not doing it quite like you should, so maybe they get sick. I just want to know what happens.
Well, Nikki, I'm going to tell you.
What?
I'm just going to give you a hint.
I know, like along those lines, but...
It's not good.
Do they have sick tummies? Or it's like, are you out for weeks or
Nikki,
what?
are you familiar with the phrase reversal of fortune?
Yes, I know.
Okay. All right.
I just want to show on that to see.
I'm just asking.
And to learn more about it.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
Become a hot dog person.